Namaste, angels. This is the first reading of the year, of the calendar year. Happy New Year to all those who believe in time and or follow the Gregorian calendar. We're going to jump right in. I'm excited. So, I say that because, let me explain myself. I say that because I follow the Gregorian calendar, but don't believe in time. I follow it in order to navigate this plane, right, successfully, but I don't necessarily in my personal space believe in or follow time. So there's that. And I know there's others like me. All right. So in any case, we're starting. I'm using both decks, but I'm not going to pull 2 cards for each placement. I'm just going to go back and forth between the decks. I'm tempted to, I might pull them from the bottom instead of turning them over so we can always see what the card is. And we'll try that this time. So I'm going to go back and forth. Like if I pull one from this deck for our theme for the week, then I'll pull that one from that deck that is representing the surrounding energy and so on and so forth for all 6 placements, which is the theme, the surrounding energy involving our community, work and finance, love and relationship, physical health, and spiritual health. So let's get right in. We're beginning with Major Arcana card, Strength. And after that, there is a Page of Cups in reverse, who may be trying to get up the strength to make some sort of offer or apology or something to someone so that they're able to move on. And when he successfully does this, right, he will have upgraded to a King of Cups from a page. So he's working on himself. He's gathering the strength. He wants to move forward. The indication is that he will move forward. And when he does, it will be because he's reached this point. Might as well get right in and begin shuffling this deck. Opening to the Hermit first. I like to mention, some of the cards, especially like a Major Arcana card like this one. Hermit, followed by the King of Wands and the 9 of Cups. So it may be a situation in your life that is involving a Virgo and or seclusion, right? Having to do some introspection and maybe pull your energy back from somebody or someone in your life having done that. A King of Wands, perhaps. Maybe an actual Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. We are starting with this fire energy, right? The Strength card represents the sign of Leo. So might be talking about this guy. He may be an actual Leo. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius is representative of the King of Wands. He does not have to be a Virgo or a fire sign, however. And something is involving wish fulfillment. So maybe like going into seclusion to figure out what your next move is and then executing that move as the King of Wands to make your dreams come true. Again, may involve a Virgo, or perhaps a Taurus or a Capricorn. We're also in Capricorn season. That may be why the Knight of Pentacles is showing up. Or it can involve work and finance, maybe, your situation. Looks like it involves a relationship that's been on a break, if I'm judging anything by this card. And so there may be somebody wanting to return and make, again, some sort of offer. Might even be an apology coming from the Knight of Pentacles. Justice in reverse. They may feel like they've done you an injustice in the past, or that, things weren't balanced. Major Arcana card, Justice, more so than justice as in the legal sense, tends to be about balance. Like this, it does represent the sign of Libra, which is also very much about balance. And so, you could have been investing more in a person or relationship than the person with whom you were in the relationship was, to you. There was a mismatch. There was not balance there. There was not reciprocity. And so that may be what this person is showing up to do after taking a break, right? Getting back there, and because it's probably painful for both of you, the situation. You're waiting. This is like the divine feminine waiting for masculine to wake up or come back, or both, after this period of separation and pain. And when he does, this very possibly how he'll be returning again, having gotten up the strength to move forward. This guy, the Knight of Pentacles, though, is known to be the slowest moving knight in the deck. However, he is also the knight that is said to always reach his goal. Whereas, for example, the Knight of Swords, let's say, may take off to handle something and may or may not complete it because he might get distracted, you know, while he's on his way there and prioritize something else above that and not finish the first thing or attend to the first thing before he's already moving on to the next thing. So that would be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius kind of energy, just very fast. However, that fast moving energy comes in handy a lot when it comes to making a decision, for example. So, I mean, each knight has their purpose, right? The Knight of Swords is known to be the most decisive and sometimes, you know, very quick to make a decision, a rush to a decision, which, you know, can be good, bad, or indifferent. Speaking of the knights, we now have the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Well, since we can see these and I'm looking at them, maybe I won't pull from the bottom. Maybe I will turn them over and pull from the top, as we typically do. A feminine, or somebody, doesn't have to be the feminine, but in this picture, right, it's a female, may have to decide something, and that decision may involve like deciding between two people or two different paths or something, and you're at like that crossroad. Could be having something to do deciding about a job or whether or not to put effort into something, to work towards something. After a time where you felt sort of betrayed and getting abandoned, although this looks to be the male or masculine who's laying here. This might be the same guy from the Four of Swords that we just saw a minute ago. You know, like I said, both people had pain. And now, again, we have a knight wanting to show up and make some sort of offer. So the next deck, which one of these? These are the After the Tarot cards. So the next deck I have laying here is these Kipper cards that are called Fortune Teller, the Fortune Teller deck of Kipper cards. And we're beginning with Family Room. So Family Room is a card that gives you a sense of timing. I just did all that talking about not believing in time, but it gives you a sense of timing in terms of soon. This is likely something that's happening soon. Maybe this week, since this is a weekly reading. Although whenever you know, it's, at the same time, it's timeless because I don't believe in time. So whenever you stumble upon it, you know, and you resonate with it, go ahead and, you know, use it. That's when it's meant for you. But this card tends to give an indication that something's happening soon, and it may involve, you know, loved ones, your home, your household, things of that nature. Opening to Bad Health. Now, there's no reversals in this deck, but I am going to take note that this card is in reverse. So somebody who may have been experiencing poor health, maybe somebody's in the hospital, actual hospital, like this person appears to be. This is like a nurse standing over them, maybe released from the hospital this week or whenever you see this reading, with their health having improved. That person may be tied to the masculine out there watching, or masculine in your life, with main male appearing right after it, followed by Great Fortune, okay, imprisonment, change. So I would say in terms of health, right, health is wealth. Great Fortune in terms of somebody's health improving. And it might be himself, you know, maybe not just somebody that he's close to, maybe himself, who had been experiencing some sort of illness. But again, getting better soon, maybe coming home soon if he's in the hospital. Now we have Sudden Wealth at the bottom of the deck. I like that. Also Thoughts with a male character thinking very heavily on a female here. Of course, it does not have to be actual male and female. It's more of the archetype that I want you to take note of, right? Masculine, thinking about feminine. And here we do have the main female, the feminine, and she's in reverse. Okay, and the next card is concern. So that explains the thinking. He's in despair. All right. Next deck is the Before the Tarot. And we're starting with Death in reverse, something that we thought was over, perhaps, is not. Maybe it's the people that were in separation from the Four Swords. You know, they may have thought that their relationship was not just on a break, but it was done. Death in reverse, saying, you know, not necessarily, that's up to y'all. If you want to work on it, Eight of Pentacles that we also saw, you can revive it, right? It's not dead yet. You can revive it. You just got to figure out how. And that's going to take both of you, and it's going to take communication. Six of Wands also in reverse is the next card. That would lead to the Ace of Swords. Again, the Ace of Swords, out of all the aces, is the one that's not just all like, you know, sugar plums and you know, treats and stuff. This one tends to come after some sort of challenge, right? The card before it is that Ten of Swords that we saw. The next card after the Ten of Swords is the Ace. Right? The 10 completes the cycle. Then we start again with the Ace or 1 as a 1 or Ace as 11, you know. Those of you who play cards, you know. And here is the Earth sign again. King of Pentacles now. And he's followed by that Page of Cups, also in reverse with the Five of Cups. So he's disappointed, upset about something. Probably having to do with the relationship. And if he wants to fix the relationship, again, they're going to have to communicate. He's going to have to come with some truth. The person with whom he's in a relationship is going to have to come with some truth. They're going to have to be, you know, open, honest, and clear with each other. Give each other some clarity. But it's not dead. And that, too, I guess, could apply not just to a romantic relationship, relationships with your friends, family members, even something at work, you know. Maybe you are on some sort of suspension or under some sort of review or something. It can be worked out, so this, whatever the situation is, if you have a conversation. Here we have more of these swords, Nine of Swords. Somebody, you know, having anxiety, sleepless nights, just really worried. But look what's behind it, the Sun. So again, we don't have to end on this note. There can be improvement, but it will take you letting go of that energy, that negative energy, that mindset, get out of your head and actually communicate with the other person that's involved or people that are involved, right? Get out of this hangman energy. Here we have somebody praying what they want. It's the Three of Swords here. Not yet. It's not pierced. So it's like, please, let's not end this. Let's not end on a bad note, and we can reconcile, start anew. Ace of Cups tends to be about things like reconciliation, or advancing like to the next stage of a relationship, sort of like with a renewed energy. It involves emotion, so it often has to do with a relationship. But that could be this again. That could apply to your job too. If you're happy about being able to resolve an issue with work or something, or to find a job. Maybe you're hanging in limbo right now. You don't know where you're going to work. You don't know what you're going to do, and then something comes through. I want to tell you. I have been hearing this song, and I should have mentioned it last time, because I actually, last time I did a reading, or for last week, I was going over all these songs with you that were coming to my head, and there were songs coming into my head during the reading, so that may be why I didn't mention this one, or didn't think to. But I've also been hearing this song, Casanova. I don't know if it's by I should have looked it up. I don't know if it's by Gerald Levert as an individual, or if he was in a group at the time that he made that song, and the group made it, because I know he used to be, I think the group may have been called Levert, just Levert, and it was him and his brother. They've both passed away at this point, which is interesting because their dad, I mean, I know it has nothing to do, age has nothing to do with whether you live or die, but their dad, also a performer, member of the OJs, is still alive. Anyway, so I don't know if it was Levert. I think he was in another group called 3LW. No, that was girls. LRG, something like that. Something with like numbers and letters, with some kind of group he was in. I think Johnny Gill was in that group too, and Keith Sweat maybe, if I remember correctly. So I don't know if it was in a group by himself or if it was, you know, who it's by. But I know he's involved. Gerald Levert's involved. And the song is called Casanova. And the part that I had kept hearing in my head, and I've also been hearing it on the radio tons. And like I said, this is like 2-3 weeks now. But it really hit me this week, like, oh shit, I'm supposed to talk about that. There's a line, I'm not your Casanova, me and Romeo have never been friends, but can't you see how much I really love you? I'm going to say it to you time and time again. So what he's saying is, he's not like romantic, really in nature. He can't come up with the words sometimes. There is a line like that too. Every time I want to see you, I can't find the words to tell you so. But I love you and I gotta let you know. Gotta let you know how much I need you, how much I, whatever. There's another line, every man deserves a good woman. I want you to be my wife. So I kept hearing these things, but like I said, I kept hearing the song on the radio too, and it's not a new song. In fact, again, the singer is deceased at this point, so it's an old song. But I keep hearing it over and over and over. So the guy, he's trying to say he's not a good communicator. He's not the best communicator. He's not romantic. You know, he might be able to like follow what, you know, people normally do. Like, oh, I'll send flowers because people do that. But he's not necessarily going to come up with romantic, interesting things on his own to do. You know, and he may even think that you like that specific type of person, man or woman. I'm saying he, but again, I'm talking about the masculine archetype, not necessarily a man. He may not know that, I mean, he may think, rather, that you only like that type. And maybe you've given him the indication or impression that you do. And so that's why this is like concern, like, I'm not that. Like, I don't know how to be that. So I don't know who that's for, but it's for somebody. Anyway, we have now ended on the Chariot. That 9 of Swords is back. So again, there's a desire to move on from that 9 of Swords, but you see this is the before the tarot deck. He's not even in the Chariot yet. So these sphinxes aren't going nowhere just yet. But there's a desire to. When you get in your car, obviously because you want to go someplace. So he wants to move on from this. He wants to move toward wish fulfillment, and success and happiness. Probably with somebody from his past, and or soulmate, 6 of Cups. Here he is again, Knight of Pentacles. And this might be who's going after the Empress. Possibly a Libra, since we saw the Justice before, was also in reverse. I talked about Libra. Possibly a Libra, Taurus, or Gemini. King of Swords is also in reverse. Sometimes I get King of Swords vibes from Capricorn and from Virgo also, which makes sense, at least in terms of Virgo, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury along with Gemini. So that may be where the air comes from, or the swords, the metal. Capricorn precedes Aquarius. That may be why I sometimes get King of Swords vibes from them. Anyway, so having seen all those Knights of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, it may specifically be an Earth sign, but maybe again a Virgo or Capricorn. Now, speaking of air and earth, right now Mercury, again ruler of the signs of Gemini and Virgo, is located in Capricorn retrograde. We all know what happens with Mercury retrograde. We see a lot of the 6 of Cups because a lot of people return to situations and people and relationships from their past. All right, let's get into this, having shuffled all the cards now. So this week's major focus or theme is the Magician. This is the energy that we're going to be feeling most of. This is our energy. So this is good. I mean, this guy has everything that he needs at his disposal to do anything that can come into his imagination and to manifest any and all of his desires. And you see, he has one hand like raised up to the sky, and one hand, it's very much intentionally pointing down to the ground. What he's saying to us is, as above, so below. I'm manifesting it here, my higher self, in an ascended way. I'm manifesting it here, on the ground, on this plane, in an earthly way. And I'm going to use my wand if I have to, my pentacles if I have to, my cup if I have to, my sword if I have to, and this pigeon or dove I got here if I'm going to send a message. The major arcana card 1, the magician, represents the sign of Gemini. Sometimes Virgo as well. People use it for Virgo too sometimes. But I guess because it represents the planet Mercury, which again is significant right now because it is retrograde and located in Capricorn. So surrounding energy this week will be represented by the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. This is close friends, family members, including like exes, like your child or the parent, all that kind of stuff, or divorced people, family members, co-workers, a situation happening at your job or something, again. And not a bad card, 10 of Pentacles, and even in reverse. So surrounding energy, like your closest one-on-one relationships, like seventh house type relationships is what this represents. Work and finance specifically. Justice, upright. Nice card for that placement too. Love and relationship. The Page of Pentacles in reverse. I think we may have had that last week too. Now that I think about it. I'm not going to have room for 2 there, so I might as well spread these out this way. Physical health. 3 of Pentacles in reverse. And spiritual health. 10 of Wands upright. Everything in view. Yes. I don't know. Actually, I think I want to move them up a little bit. So see the 2 at the bottom more fully. Okay, that's better. All right, so starting out the Magician, again, that's our overall theme and focus this week, and the energy that will most likely, be in. This is our energy. Again, this is the people that are around us, our community. So very powerful and positive omen to have show up in reading the Magician. It reminds us that we have power, so it's similar to the Strength card that we started out with in that sense, to remind us of our abilities of, what we're able to handle, and that the universe is there to support us. Again, as above, so below. We're not alone. All of these wonderful things. It tends not to be about regular magic, although when it's in reverse, sometimes I will read it as somebody doing like spell work, or something like on you, or on whoever the focus is of the reading, and whatever the context is. Here though, and upright, in this context and upright, this is about making higher and better use of our power, energy, abilities. That's talking spiritual, emotional, and any other way, right? Every sense of the word. It's also another card that can signify new beginnings, and to have really huge expectations of wonderful things that are coming. And I got to tell you, I posted on Facebook yesterday, and I am a Gemini. Posted on Facebook yesterday that I was just so excited about the future, and I'm still having that feeling. I don't know how long some of you have been on the journey. I know some of you have been not only on the journey the whole time with me, but watching my channel the whole time, right? All these years that I've been on. Many of us that have been, on the journey for a while, had a major awakening. There was a major awakening in 2012. Then there was another one in 2015 that was even surpassed the 2012. That was just huge. People waking up in one way or another, leveling up, to the next major level, all over the place, all over the world. And that was when a lot of us ended up on YouTube either as a creator or a viewer, seeking other people like us and information, all kinds of stuff. 2015 was an 8 year, right? 2 + 1 + 5 was 8. The year before that, 2014, was a 7 year. And that was a year when a lot of people experienced different, or began to experience different changes in their life, like major life changes. If you didn't experience it in early 2015. And when I say early, I mean probably within the first quarter of that month. So 2014 through like March of 2015, people were experiencing major life changes. Somebody passed away, you lost a job, had a baby, I don't know, all kinds of different, whatever the major life changes means to you, right? That's what I'm talking about. That was a 7 year. 7 in numerology, and pretty much almost all of the different types that I can think of right now off the top of my head of numerical languages, 7 tends to refer to the divine, to God, to the universe, sort of being in charge and doing things. And so that's the year that we're going into now. And I was thinking that maybe that was why I felt so excited and encouraged about the future, because I woke up with it again today. Like, not, you've been happy and excited and you don't really know why. You can't put your finger on like why you feel so good, and so like you have so hopeful about the future, like you have so much to look forward to, because nothing's necessarily happening in front of your face that you can point to, nothing tangible yet, but you just have the feeling. That's how I've been today. And so it came to me that it was because it's a 7 year, a 7 cycle that we started now. And why was I telling you all that about the 7 cycle? Maybe so you can be excited too, because again, the magician tends to be about, great expectations also that we have ahead. And again, new beginnings. It's card number 1. Major Arcana card number 1. Ones are about fresh starts, new beginnings. So this is you having the power to sort of create your own new beginning out of the ashes of 2022. What else do I want to say about this card? That may be it. You might see like synchronicities and see, hear, I don't know, recognize, I guess is a better word. Synchronicities, or signs, things that seem, like serendipity or whatever, like, or coincidence. I personally don't believe in coincidences. So that type of thing. And it's like trying to give you a message. I know those of you who are on my Facebook, you saw this message of this sync that I experienced recently. My friend actually brought it up today. So everybody that's been watching my channel recently, within the past couple months, knows that a man that I dated was murdered, right, this summer. And it's funny because we hadn't seen each other in like 10 years. So it's not like I was so close to him. We never slept together. We dated for about 6 months. And I remember I used to joke with my friends that in a way he and I were closer and had spent more time together than some of them who had been, dating people for a year, 2 years, because we literally were like joined at the hip and like saw each other every single day for those 6 months. So we got a lot into that 6 months, but we were never intimate. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. In any case, so when this happened to him, again, it wasn't like I had just seen him and, still felt a connection in that sense, but it was sad. It was like somebody that I knew, somebody that I did care about, was murdered. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I very naturally went into like mourning. Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to say it. So I had written this post on my Facebook on his birthday. That was the last post I was going to make about him. I was done with my mourning, and I wanted to let him rest, right, in peace. So I wasn't going to say anything else about him. The next day, I was in the house for most of the morning. I finally got dressed, and I was going somewhere by car. So the way the way my building is, there's a garage on the first floor that is both utilized by people in the building. We have to pay for it, monthly account, but utilized by people that live in the building, and it's public. So you can drive up if you're in New York, like how these public garages work. They're not just in New York; they're everywhere. You can drive up and pull a ticket and go in and park your car for however long you need to park it. So there's a cashier's booth downstairs. There's an interior door to access the garage from my building without going outside, right? Without stepping into the weather or whatever else. Just from inside the building, the first floor of the building, we open this door and the garage is right there. We've entered the garage by going through that door. And when we come through that door, we're facing the back of the cashier's booth. Since it's a public garage, the public comes in this way. We come in this way. So the public comes in, you walk up to this glass booth from this side and, do your transaction, whatever. This guy, when I came downstairs and opened the door on this side, was standing against the booth with his back to me. So he's facing the glass booth on the worker's side of the booth, not on the public side of the booth. He wasn't in the booth like he worked there. He was outside the booth, but he was like standing there, like up against it kind of, and facing it. Very kind of weird, actually. And he had on a Rugrats jacket. It's a leather jacket. It looked like a varsity type of thing, like leather sleeves and a cloth back. And it was Rugrats jacket, and it said Tommy. Tommy from Rugrats. That's my ex's name, Tommy. And it had Tommy, the baby, on the jacket, and a basketball. My Tommy went to college on a basketball scholarship and was like a star basketball player at his high school. So I knew that was a message for me. Even though I had said I was laying him to rest, he's like, the next day, he's like, oh, like I'm still here. Hold on. And it has come to me since then that why he continued to show up and what he was trying to show me was that he doesn't want me to settle. He doesn't want me to take less than I deserve from somebody that I'm in a relationship with. Because I literally wouldn't have had to have like lifted a finger. I didn't have to pay for anything. He wouldn't let me, like I wanted to for times. I wanted to take him out sometimes. He would never let me pay. The check would come. He would hand me his wallet, and I'd be like, no, I'm paying today. And he's like, no, you're not. Like that type of thing. And not that it's about money and relationships and stuff like that, because I'm certainly not that type. But what I'm saying is he treated me as best as I could imagine one should be treated. He treated me like a queen. And so and the way that I met him was after getting into an argument with the man who I was otherwise seeing, talking to, dealing with, saying like, I don't deserve this, what you're giving me, the way you're treating me. I'm going to find somebody who's going to treat me like a queen. I literally used those words, and Tommy, when I met him, the day I met him, the moment I met him, literally asked me, is anybody treating you like a queen? So all of that was synchronicity. This is the reason I brought this story up. All of that, meeting him was synchronicity. I guess the experience that I had with him, he was showing me, it was a lesson, right? It was a karmic relationship. It was a karmic lesson, showing me this is how you're supposed to be treated. And now that he's gone, he was reminding me, he doesn't want me to forget it. Once he knows that I'm going to go on and be in a relationship. I mean, I had already. We weren't together. Like I said, I hadn't even seen him in like 10 years. But he kept showing up in my life until, like, through synchronicities, until I realized that. And I haven't seen him since, like, you know, in anything. So pay attention. It's the moral of all of that is pay attention. There's so much, like, so much coincidence and like things that happen that sounds like it's from a movie, you know, or that can happen. It sounds like from a movie if you're like open to it and receptive to all that's going on. All right, so that is the Magician. The 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Again, this one is more so our surrounding energy, our community, so the people around us. So for one thing, somebody could be coming into like a lump sum of money. It may have to do with from work, like work compensation, workers' comp, unemployment, social security, like those type of things. With justice upright next to this 10 of Pentacles. So that's one thing. Justice upright in the placement of work and finance. So let me be more clear. So I might as well talk about what the 10 of Pentacles means in reverse with regard to work. I'll start there. Somebody close to you could also be tempted to like leave a job that is stable and, or, you know, like a good deal, a lucrative situation or whatever, kind of like on a bit of a whim, like, you know, I've had enough of this and I want to, maybe they want to start their own company. So I'm not saying like you should discourage people that are around you, but something like that could come up because they really do need to obviously think long and hard before making such a move. They need to be the Knight of Pentacles, right? Or maybe even the Knight of Cups in their considering, as opposed to perhaps the Knight of Swords who may rush more quickly toward a decision. Like, I want to do this, I'm going to do it. Try to find like a happy medium maybe. Since the Magician is here, we do have this energy reminding us that we can do anything and everything we want to do, achieve, you know, our wildest dreams. So maybe you want to go somewhere between the energy of an air sign or a Gemini more specifically and an earth sign. So maybe you want to you know, think about it in that sense, but not so slow that you become the Knight of Pentacles. Somewhere in between, a little energy from this one, a little energy from that one. In considering that, if somebody is close to you is looking for work, then they gotta watch out for like a scammer. Somebody like talks a good game. Maybe they're gonna try to get you involved in a pyramid scheme or something, MLM. I don't know, but something may not be completely on the level. So make sure you look, you know, like really into the job. As it relates to love and relationship, 10 of Pentacles in reverse can kind of be like the Page of Pentacles in reverse. It could mean like you're in a relationship that you're bored with. So maybe if this is you, you know, you can manifest a relationship that you actually want, whether it's with the same person, if you're willing to put effort into that. This, especially a long-term relationship, you could be like sort of feeling kind of over it and wanting to get out of it. Somebody close to you could be dealing with that. Or yeah, just feeling sort of bored over the relationship. Obviously, if you want to remain in it, then I mentioned this when I was shuffling, right? It's going to have to be conversation. It's going to have to be communication and figuring it out. Or if you're done, you had enough of that situation, then, you know, there's always justice. There's always separating it. There's always actual divorce, you know, for those who are you know, married or whatever, or separation of property and kids, you know, depending upon one situation. But it's going to take thought. Now, since it's showing up in two places, in our surrounding energy and in love and relationship, it could be the person that we're dealing with specifically, not just somebody that's, you know, a good friend of ours or whatever, but maybe somebody specifically that we're dealing with who is having these feelings of they're ready to be done with their relationship because this Pentacles energy, like I said, is in reverse, coming up in our surrounding energy and coming up in our placement for love and relationship in the form of the Page of Pentacles. This card is also reminding us that we have a lot to be like thankful for and grateful for in our lives. Could be showing up because today is, the January 1st. So, um, some of us could be thinking like, I made it through, like I survived another year, whatever you've been going through. Or speaking through survival, it could be attached to something like the health situation that appeared to have come up in the cards before. Somebody close to you, like I said, maybe you have experienced some sort of health issue, or you have, or job decline issue, hiring freeze, layoff, something, suspension, maybe something that's not right, illegal, that you can fight, but something may have happened nonetheless. And then there's a sense of, well, even if I was sick, I was in the hospital, I'm out now, I'm alive, I'm well, I got my health, I can be thankful about that. Or again, even if I lost my job or I have difficulty finding a job lately, I got a roof over my head, I got food to eat, I got my family, I got my health, I got my wealth, that sort of thing. So just reminding you, like, even if something negative or that you wish wouldn't have happened has happened, or is happening, that there's still so many wonderful things going on for you and going for you, period, that you really got to be thankful for. And that just that mindset alone helps you to manifest more positivity and abundance, sudden wealth in your life. Okay. So that's that. All right. So moving on to justice in the position of work and family. Again, justice is very much about balance. The energy of Libra, which justice represents, often very much about balance. So you might need to be sure that your work life, work/life, not work life as in one word, but work/life balance, like your family life, your social life, whatever, is like where it needs to be. Like too much emphasis on either throws something off. So if you are a workaholic, maybe it's looking again at the Ten of Pentacles, like maybe you working hard, or an earth sign. Sometimes just being an earth sign alone, like might can indicate that you might be a workaholic, especially like a Capricorn. They work very hard. They're known to be like the hardest workers of the zodiac. Virgo, Taurus, they all are pretty much dedicated. They know how to make money. The earth signs, they know how to make money, if nothing else. So it could be like something like that, a workaholic. I'm saying that also because this, again, is the placement of work and finance. So maybe your social life or your love life or both, or your life with your children, or your personal life just on your own. Like you're not nurturing yourself enough, and doing self-care. You're running yourself down into the ground. Maybe that's why you ended up not well, high blood pressure, heart attack, God forbid. But maybe because just always work. So there may need to be some attention given to that. Or even if you're not working and you're just like always focused on that negative situation, like I don't have a job, I haven't found anything, and just like getting into a negative mindset, that could be why this card is showing up too, to say like, hey, remember all the wonderful things. And again, in tandem with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, that's definitely the message that it's trying to give. But for most people, like, one or the other, your work or your social life, or taking care of yourself, like one of them comes sort of easily to us, and the other requires more effort. A Gemini female can definitely be. In fact, I was looking at the Facebook memories the other day, and this thing popped up like from the past, and it wasn't something that I had written. It was like a meme about an astrology meme, and it's about Gemini, and it was like how we can, especially if we're in a romantic relationship or when we're in love or whatever, we can just like overgive, like just constantly take care of the other person and forget about ourselves. So there could be that sort of situation happening also, especially if you're in this energy of Gemini. Even if you're not a Gemini, if you're acting like the magician, you may be, or like an air sign, you may be giving all your attention to other things, and not to yourself, maybe. But especially if you're Gemini or Virgo, that may be happening for you or with you. And again, when I mentioned Virgo before, I said sometimes I get King of Swords because Libra, Virgo and Libra like back to back in the month of September. So maybe that's why this Libra is showing up. In any case, yeah, it just basically balance is necessary. So moving specifically to finances that may or may not be tied to your work or your job, this is definitely a good time for games of chance. Like I'm never going to tell you to go out and gamble and whatnot. Oh my God. I got to tell you something else. I don't want to forget. Not gonna say, I would never say like go out and gamble or whatever, but very often when this card shows up in the context of money, it can mean that like probably smaller than rather than large, because this I'm looking at the Ten of Pentacles again, which can also be about lump sums, but it's in reverse. It's not upright. So probably smaller rather than a windfall, but something coming your way. So maybe some sort of bonus or promotion or found money of some sort. Or again, you play, scratch off a lottery ticket, something like that. Don't bet the farm, but yeah. Even if you don't gamble in any kind of way, maybe you don't believe in gambling, that's okay too with this card. Money that you weren't expecting can show up now, and that's always a good thing. And again, we have sudden wealth here as the overall energy of the fortune teller cards. So that's a good sign too. So the thing I said, oh my God, about. So speaking of synchronicities, a lot of times in my, let me get my phone. Hang on, let me get my phone so I can show you this, that it really happened. A lot of times when I play Words with Friends, things show up. All right, this isn't the one, but this is one I took a screenshot of because this is a message too. Well, at least in my mind it is. I found it interesting. But here, the opponent, which was the computer, had played betted. I hadn't played anything yet. And it said, I don't know what this first O was, but the cash OD, like a lot of money. New Yorkers use the words OD for, any kind of abundance, like OD this and OD that. When anything is like sort of outrageous and crazy, overboard, right? So I took note of that, cash, OD. And then I saw betted, and I was like, oh, maybe this is about like gambling or something, like winning money. And I was going to post it on my Facebook, but I haven't done it yet. So anyway, if I didn't show you that like live, you might not have believed it. So I wanted to do that. But that's what this justice could be about. So this was like deja vu because I think we may have had the Page of Pentacles in reverse in the position of love and relationship last week because I just feel like I just said this. But it can be about a wandering eye. Even if you are in like a solid relationship, a committed relationship, a marriage even, you may just be sort of bored with that relationship right now. Or if it is more serious than that, it goes beyond that, you could be over it. And I do think that for the majority to whom that scenario at all applies, it is that they're completely over it. Why do I think that? Again, because the Ten of Pentacles is also here in reverse. So this goes again, especially for long-term relationships. You've been together for a while. You're over that relationship. And then with Justice sitting here in the middle, I mean, Justice is often about divorce and stuff, So I'm going to think that for more people than the alternative of I'm just a little bit bored, but I still want to be here, is I'm ready to go. I want out. And you maybe haven't figured out how to get out yet. And then that's what this Magician energy is for. That's what this Magician energy is for. It's to help you to realize, again, you write the story. You write the story. You're the author. This is your new beginning that you can bring to reality how if you can conceive it, you can do it. If you can sense that it's been conceived, by the universe for you, that it's a plan. The major arcana cards tend to be about karmic energy, like universal energy, God, and things that we have no control over, in my opinion. So if it's been conceived, it's meant for you already. Nobody can take it from you, but maybe you got to do some sort of free will action to let the universe know you're ready. And that's when it's going to show up below, right? It's already as above. It's going to show up below when you're ready for, it to show up below. So, the universe may have been trying to show you the synchronicities for a long time that you belong out of this relationship, and maybe you just kept on, especially if you're an earth sign, especially if you're a Virgo. Oh my goodness, these people can do a relationship, talk about ride or die. Like, the relationship been over, been dead, you laid out in the ground and still trying to stay in it, even though you're miserable. That, I guess, to say that they were successful, because that can be something with earth signs, and I think particularly Virgo too, this need for perfection and success. So even if they make themselves completely unhappy, but we may have reached a point where you just can't take it anymore, and you definitely want out, and you want to figure out how, and that's what this magician energy is showing up to help you with. So for those for whom you're just feeling bored, then use this magician energy to help you to figure out how to put the spark back in. And maybe that would be for you where the No Casanova song comes in. Like, I don't really know how to make it exciting, I'm just a regular old Joe, and I can't figure it out, but that's your cue maybe to figure it out. Figure out how you're going to figure it out. Maybe talk to somebody else. Maybe, walk into a flower shop and talk to the guy, or talk to a bartender or a jewelry store. I don't know. I don't want to make it seem like it takes money and it takes stuff to be romantic or spontaneous. But you got to find the spark if you're interested in not being bored with your relationship. For those who are single, you could meet somebody this week that you like. So I know some people, they say that they are dating to marry. But the Page of Pentacles would indicate that neither one of you is probably ready to settle down. So just have fun. Try to have fun instead, without thinking about, whether or not you want to marry this person you just met. Moving on to physical health. So similar to Justice, in terms of balance and not overdoing. Remember how I said I connected it with this, and I said maybe somebody's overworking themselves? That's what this is about a lot of the time. It is about the Three of Pentacles represents work, right? It's a representative of a worker energy and direct compensation for our work. So if it's about coming into money, it tends to be about coming into money from your job or from some task that you completed. That's why you're being paid. We work and we get paid. When it's in reverse, and when it's with regard to health, it means that you need to be cautious about overdoing things, and that moderation or balance is key. Also, trusting your instincts in terms of if you feel weak, lay down. 4 of Swords, rest. Your woman will be standing over you when you wake up. It's fine. Like in the picture. That's what I'm talking about. If you think you need to be seen by a doctor, then do it. Don't hesitate. Don't play around with that. And a lot of us, especially men, so now I am talking gender, males, especially black males, and sometimes other men of color, Hispanic men, Latinos. So macho Italians too. I guess maybe the Romance languages and black men. And I don't know why black men. Maybe because they historically have just had to work so hard, especially when it was a man's duty to provide for the family, even in the poorer families. It was the man often that went out to work, or the woman may have done some work, but just part-time and stuff. And so a lot of times he worked himself to death, I say all this to say, those communities in particular, but of course it could be anybody, tend to have these men that are so macho and I'm fine, and they don't go to the doctor. And just because you maybe look good, you're handsome, you're muscular, or you're thin, or both, I don't know what people, whatever, the things that society attributes to being healthy or looking healthy, appearing healthy. Even if you are all those things, that doesn't determine what's going on inside. In fact, some people have been in such tip-top shape and then they die. Athletes, it happens a lot of, it happens fairly often actually. An athlete will, die at like 40, 50 years old and you go, wow, what happened? This guy was in tip-top shape. Well, maybe not on the inside. Sometimes we push ourselves too hard. Sometimes we're lacking, different vitamins, nutrients, and things, depending on our diet or whatever else we're into. Drugs and drinking and all kinds of stuff, So maybe you like to have a beer every time you get home from work. Maybe that's fine. Maybe for you it's not fine. Maybe it's affecting your liver. I don't know. This is just rambling, so it probably means something for somebody because stuff that comes out of my mouth usually means it. I've never had it not mean something. I may not know what it means in the moment, but I always find out that it related to something or to one of you, and you'll let me know. Oh yeah, that you were talking about me. That's my situation. Anyway. Even if you, like I said, think that you are in shape by societal standards, if you are not feeling well, or if you think something may be off or not right or whatever, go to the doctor. And this popped into my head too about last week. I also remember, I don't know what reading it was. It may have been the weekly reading or maybe it was the moon reading. I don't know. Sometimes I just get to talking and rambling, as I've done a lot in this reading, I feel. Anyway, I was talking about these feelings that I have been getting, like channel messages about people, like, I don't know, feeling a way about erectile dysfunction and different issues with sexual intimacy. I was saying maybe menopause, maybe this, maybe that. I threw out a couple of examples. I guess I don't remember going into detail, but like menopause can cause dryness. I've heard. I'm 51, but I have not, I still get my period. Anyway, TMI, but so I don't know personally, but I've heard can cause dryness and stuff like that. So anyway, I talked about sexual problems with intimacy, not just because of those physical issues, but there could be other issues too, emotional and situations and stuff like that. Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, whatever. One of those days that I had the time, I watched the Best Man series, and I hate a series. As a matter of fact, I had gone to watch it one night and turned it off because I was so pissed that it wasn't a movie. Best Man final chapter. I was so angry that it wasn't a movie and that it was a series that I turned it off. But I ended up going, like I said, watching it like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or something like that. And one of the couples in the movie, the husband very casually was talking to his friend about how his wife had this tremendous sex drive and he needed to take blue pills. And it wasn't like, oh my God, blue pill, you on that, man? It wasn't like, it was very casual conversation. Like, it's normal. It happens all the time. Just like it should. That's how it should be, right? Because I was saying the same thing when I was talking about it. I'm like, I don't know why people are uptight about it. This is natural. It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of us, as they say. And it should be something that couples can talk about and work around and all that kind of stuff. Especially if true love matches. No need to get, uptight about something like that when there's things that can be done about it. And it's part of the natural course of life, or can be part of the natural course of life and aging. No need to get upset about it. The same guy's wife, separate part of the series, actually realized that she was in menopause. She kept having these hot flashes, and her friend said, you're going through menopause. And she was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, that's when she realized. She hadn't thought about it before. And, she started doing what she felt she could do to help herself through the menopause, which was to make juice or whatever, which maybe that's a thing. Maybe that does help. But anyway, that's not the point. I was talking about it to say these are things that happen, right, to men and women as part of life. So, and this is something that's been going on with society in general. Like, aging is bad. You know what the opposite of aging is? Dying. Like, if you're not aging, like, it's because you're dead. So why we make it so shameful, I don't understand. But that could be a reason sometimes, maybe to avoid the doctor or something, because you don't want to admit that you're having some sort of challenge, especially if you used to be, able to just knock them down, 2, 3, 4, 5 women a night, whatever, and all of a sudden you can't. You need a blue pill. Maybe you're having trouble coping with that or dealing with that. So this is not necessarily about sex, the reason for this card, but that is one of the things that somebody could be going through. And again, if you need to see a doctor, please see a doctor. Kind of similarly, the 10 of Wands is about sort of coming to the end of a cycle of where you feel burdened or burdensome upon somebody else. Maybe burdened by your health issue, maybe burdened by your work issue, although again this is a good card for finances, but maybe you're out of balance. Your relationship, burdened by your relationship and the fact that you are not happy in it, or are not, you feel like it's going nowhere and you want to spice it up, or you're burdened by something else, maybe whatever the case is. This card shows up to tell you to not be afraid to ask for assistance. Again, like, go to the doctor, talk to a spiritual, person, or your church, your synagogue, your temple, whatever it is you're into. A friend, somebody of a like mind that can help you through something, whatever. I'm suggesting, I guess, somebody more professional, a therapist. And there's nothing to be embarrassed about in terms of that either. That's a doctor. A psychologist is a doctor. A psychiatrist is a doctor. So if you need to go to the doctor for mental health too, that could be coming under this physical health card. No shame in that either. But even with, again, I guess, acknowledging that and that we need help and then asking for assistance, this card is also about recognizing, like, knowing. We have to learn to be able to discern and ascertain, like, when enough is enough and when it's time for us to get out from under the burden. So, for example, like I was talking about with the relationship, this may have been going on for a long time. You may have been miserable a long time, and you may be like doing it until the wheels fall off, like a Virgo. Sorry, Virgos. I don't mean to pick at y'all. But you may be doing it like that and staying in it even though you're not happy. Wasn't one of the cards, the overall energy is the Chariot? I just thought about that, until the wheels fall off. Yeah. You may be doing it to death and you should have been left and you're still there. And now you have to learn to recognize, this is fucking with my spirit and my spiritual health. I'm not only not happy, I feel burdened. My soul, my spirit feels burdened. I got to get out from under this. But the card calls for you to learn to be able to do that, to figure out when it's time to do that, and also when you need to ask for help. The major theme here is really to take good care of yourself, in every way, including your spirit, your soul. And the card shows up to say, doing so now, like in this moment, is critical. Like, you really need to. You have to. Let's look at a couple of these. I feel like I've been talking forever. This reading is probably long, but we pulled these out, we shuffled them. Let's see if they add anything. So let's see what's added maybe to the theme of this week. Mature man. Mature man. This may be you coming to a realization, or us coming to a realization about our powers and what's in our control and what's not, like having grown to that understanding. Or, you know, maybe separate and apart from the magician, there is a mature man that will be a major focus or significant to your life this week. So in the position of the surrounding, it's kind of like a 10 of Pentacles, because there's no reversals in this deck, but when it was going to be in reverse, it was in reverse. So it's a gift in reverse. It's kind of like 10 of Pentacles in reverse, like abundance in reverse. But I'm going to hold it upright. Gift. So you may be receiving a gift from somebody. You may be wanting to give somebody in your surrounding energy a gift. And so we have that. I also just got, like with it in reverse, maybe like taking back a gift. Not that you're physically going to take it back, but I thought about the marriage again. The divorce, you know, like the ring and stuff. So that could be for somebody. A message too. Work and family and justice. We have child. This too is in reverse. And this can be about your own inner child, yourself, in terms of nurturing. It can be literal in terms of spending more time with your family and your children, and, you know, seeking that balance. Your loved ones, you know, like she's sitting here with her loved one, her beloved Dolly. Love and relationship. High honor is also in reverse. So again, there's no reversals in this deck. I'm just making note of the fact that it's in reverse, as is the Page of Pentacle. And so maybe that high honor, that relationship that you had somebody in this position of a high honor, like your person, is not so much anymore. And you kind of want out. And that's what the card looks like when it's upright. So again, there's wanting out, there's wanting to fix it and sparking it. Maybe like these cannons, they have to be sparked in order to go off, right? You got to light the string. Or again, in terms of being single, there's movement. I'm seeing the wheels there. There's movement, and you meet somebody very easily this week, but you might not be ready to settle down. Just let the fun happen. Let the sparks fly, as they say. Physical health, and the Three of Pentacles in reverse. We have house. We have house. So this can be about your house, your body, your temple, your foundation. Something not being right there, and you needing to, again, look into it, or just, you know, in terms of nurturing, again, yourself, taking care of yourself. Even if you don't, for those of us who don't necessarily need to go to the doctor or haven't been in the hospital, like I saw at the start of the reading when I was shuffling, we still need to we all need to take care of our foundations, our bodies, our temples. And last but not least, the Ten of Wands upright in the position of spiritual health. We have privileged lady. So you could be stressed about maybe somebody that you take care of. Might be the wife. Sometimes privileged lady, honestly, I haven't had these cards that long, but just in using them for the time that I have, a lot of the time this woman has represented the karmic feminine for me. So it could be that. And again, maybe attached to this situation with the relationships, and this is who he's stressed over. Or, I guess alternatively, and that makes sense with the high honor, right? She was somebody that was elevated, high honor, privilege, and it's in reverse now because they're over it. Or this could be wanting to, again, take care of somebody, a family member, maybe your child, or your new woman or man who's on your mind, the thoughts per this person that he's thinking about, and being stressed over maybe not being able to. Maybe that's why you're working so hard. Like, I got to make more money so I can take care of this person. Let's pull one more. It's mature woman in reverse. Maybe, it's this. Maybe it's this guy's mate or desired mate, or some other woman person that is significant to him that he feels he needs to work for. I'll pull one more. And it's journey. Journey on top of the spiritual placement. I'm going to have to figure it has something to do with the spiritual journey. And again, maybe this woman is his counterpart. We got mature man, we got mature woman. So that's what we have from there. And we'll take a couple of these secret messages. This one didn't want to come up. What is it? I can't imagine my life without you. You rock my world. You are a heaven-sent earth angel who inspires me to be my best self. So that could definitely be tied here with this. Like, I'm working so hard and I'm kind of stressed out about it because I want to be better. I want to be better. I want more money. I want more abundance. I want to be the best I possibly can be. Because you drive me you motivate me to want all that. Privileged lady or mom or whoever this woman is, mature woman. And last but not least, we have, let's get to know each other better. Things are moving too fast. And that can be for the singles, again, who are meeting. You're not ready to settle down. And that's what I have for you this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate it. I didn't look up the transits for me this week. That's not me. Chalk it up to it being a holiday weekend and me getting a late start to this today. So maybe during the week, I'll do something else and I'll go over whatever transits are occurring this week, in addition to, of course, Mercury retrograde, which we did talk about. All right. Namaste.